Hey everybody. Am I freezing up as I start? Let's see who comes on. Hey, when you come on, just put down your name and where you're from. Because, again, with all these glasses, I still can't read a lot of the finer print. So you have to tell me who you are and where you're from. Brianna from Ohio. How are you, Brianna? God bless you. Kenya. Fran from Miami. Pauline. And I'm looking good. Thank you so much. James and David and Teresa. Hi there. Hi. Jean. Hello there. Madiva from Dallas. Maryland, Las Vegas, Long Island. Ronnie, all London. PFC's on. I figured that the East Coast would probably be asleep by now, and the European and African region would just be waking and going about their business, while the West Coast of America is just barely getting to bed, while Hawaii is still in their afternoon. It's the evening, 6 p.m. But God bless every one of you all. Hey, Long Beach and Josie Day and Atlanta and New York is still up. All right. Hey, Kiana, how you doing, boss? Well, hi, everybody. Well, I just wanted to come on and have one last periscope before the end of 2017. I'm just overwhelmed. Yesterday I got the surprise of my life, got a voicemail from Patti LaBelle just loving on me. And, I mean, she's just great and messed me up. She wants to work with me. And will really work with her because she is the icon. And I was going through my voicemail and heard, "Hi, Donnie, this is Patti LaBelle." I said, "Oh, Lord, thank God for Jesus." So I'm going to reach out to her and love on her tomorrow. But I wanted to talk to you all before we leave. I wanted to give you all I see Sherry Shepherd just hit me up. Love you, Sherry. I wanted to give you guys a heads up before we get into 2018. I talked to our church about it on Wednesday. And on Wednesday night, we had a wonderful midweek service. And the Lord told me, because I was going to teach in Romans 8, but the Lord told me to go instead to Habakkuk and go to, the watchman on the wall, and that the vision is for an appointed time. And God started really dealing with me about the way that the Christian body, especially those of us of the quote-unquote Pentecostal persuasion, how we're so emotional and how we are so absolutely endeared to the spiritual and don't really take note that there's very little productivity. We receive prophecies, we receive words of wisdom, and we rejoice over it and the potential, but then we let it die. We don't do what Habakkuk told, what God told Habakkuk to do. He said, write the vision. Write the vision. Make it plain on tablets of stone so that those that read it can run with it. For the vision is for an appointed time. It's for an appointed time. And it will come, and it will not tarry, it will not lie. And if it tarries, wait on it, but write it down so that those that read it may run with it. Write it down. And a lot of us hear prophetic words and utterances and receive promises from the Lord, and God shows us who we're supposed to be, and we rejoice over it and lose it because we don't write it down. So my admonition to everybody on Wednesday, and it will be on Sunday briefly also, is going to be to sit down and chronicle what God told you. Sit down and write what God told you down. Write who He called you to be. Format, and structure, organize, and configure how to implement the different things that God has shown you. I mean, really, take stock in you, because when you do so, God's going to breathe on it, and He's going to make it come alive. You know, and don't sit back and consider time being so wasted and squandered that your time has passed. It has not. God wants you to sit down and to develop plans, develop organizational skills, and develop strategies and stratagems. To sit back and really document, as well as configure, you know, the truth of who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do. When you don't write it down, you may forget nuances of it that are key to its progress. If you don't write it down, you may forget small pertinent points that, if they're not remembered and included, may compromise the whole thing. If you don't write it down, you may forget something that God spoke and something that God dropped in your spirit. Write it down. Sit down with pen and pad. Sit down with your smartphone or your computer, your iPad, whatever it is. Sit down. Start from the time God called you and promised you and prophesied over you. Start from the time that God opened up your vision to see into your future, a brief glimpse into your future as to whom He's called you to be. Write these things down from childhood, key scriptures. Write down without shame, without embarrassment, or without trying to emulate somebody else. Write down who God's called you to be and what He's called you to do. Sit back, pray over it, and then sit down and start to itemize and strategize and configure the different pertinent points that will cause this to be. I'm telling you, I've got some notebooks from 1976, 77 when I was in school, when I was in high school, and God would give me visions about singing and visions about the group that I would have and the musicians that I would have. And I configured the whole thing, wrote it all out. Then I went to the next page and configured it. Where the sopranos were going to stand, the altos were going to stand, the tenors were going to stand. And I pulled from every bit of inspiration that I received from Andre Crouch or Walter Hawkins, Edmund Hawkins. And I wrote it down. And lo and behold, I stayed true to it. And whenever I start to feel like I was inadequate, I was always able to go back to that notebook and read it and have the inspiration breathed in me again. You've really got to chronicle who God's called you to be. And don't be afraid of the grandeur of it. Did I freeze up? I think I might have frozen up. Don't be afraid of the grandeur of it. Don't be afraid of the magnitude of it. Be who God's called you to be without apology. Do what God's called you to do without excuses. Configure it. Write it down. Etch it in stone. Don't share it with everybody. Only those who can agree with you and only those who have your best interest at heart. Because some people will see it and they'll see your heart. They'll see your passion. They'll see your purpose. And they'll use it against you if they're not governed by the Holy Ghost. If jealousy or greed or envy hits them, and you share your heart with them concerning who God's called you to be, some people, in their own self-hatred, will use it against you. So what you need to do is be very selective with who you share your vision with. And let those who read it run with it, who believe in you, who pray for you, who walk alongside of you, you know? But it's imperative to write the vision down. Without a vision, the people perish. If you don't chronicle the vision, if you don't make it plain, you might lose it. The Bible says, pay the most earnest heed to the things that you've heard, lest at any time you let them slip. And the best way to pay that most earnest heed is to write it down. Write it out.